There were a lot of compass directions, numbers, and dragons. Exactly. Alright, so quick recap. We have those 4 wings. We also have 3 dragons. A green dragon. Another green dragon. Red dragon. And we have a white dragon, which is usually a completely blank piece. In some sets it can be like this. This is what you see in the traditional Windows solitaire mahjongs. And then we have numbers from 1 to 9. We have pins of circles from 1 to 9. And we have bamboos from 1 to 9. And this is bamboo 1. The sparrow in Chinese mahjong, and therefore mahjong. Alright, now, at the beginning of the game, we get to pick who sits where, right? We have 4 players at the table, and it needs to be determined who starts. Who is going to be the first dealer? Who is going to be, and where do the other players sit relative to you, right? Who's the first south, west, and north? You are a wee bit quiet. Oh! I can pull this microphone a little closer. Or a lot closer, actually. Is this better? I remember Honitsu and Pinfu and Ipatsu. Nice. Honitsu is the half flash, Pinfu is the hand without points, and Ipatsu... Ah, okay, cool. Thank you very much for the heads up. Ipatsu is winning in the first round after... Is North first? No. East is first. Sadly not. East is the first dealer. East is the most important wind, I guess, through the entire game, because East always signifies the dealer. Also, at the end, while these might be in the traditional order that we see them, they will be seated like this. So I can maybe explain that a little. This looks a bit weird, right? Because you have north here, and then you have east here and west here. Isn't that mirrored? That is mirrored. Yes. Well, you can say that east and west switch. You could also say that north and south switch, right? If you just look this from the other way around, then east and west are correct, but north and south just switched, right? So essentially, it's mirrored, and there's like several origin stories of why this is mirrored. My favorite one is that we on Earth play the game that the gods play in the sky, but if we have a windrose down here, it's mirrored when we look it up in the sky, and therefore the gods play it right, and we on Earth, we play it mirrored. I don't know if we talked about Furi-ten. We briefly mentioned it a couple of times. I'm not even sure if I mentioned the name Furi-ten, but we're gonna go into that. So, now, the 2 standard ways of picking the starting wind are as follows, right? We shuffle the tiles, all 4, and then everyone gets to pick one, right? And usually, the player who picks east gets to pick where he sits, and the other 3 arrange around them. But that doesn't work. Great, I'm so good with cardinal directions, this I won't mess this up at all. Yeah, don't worry about it. Another, much fancier way of determining them is that everyone already is seated, and then you take 2 pieces, an odd piece, and an even piece, if I can find one. Alright. Shuffle those in. And I think then you roll the dice, or the other way around, it doesn't really matter. So it's a 4. So you open this up. Oh god. I haven't done this in a while, right? Then you put those out so they're... so the odds and evens are on the sides. And 4 is even, so I think you just count from here and deal them around like this. And then the people retake their seats based on which one they picked in that direction, in that in that shuffling. I'm not entirely sure if I did that right, but that has been a long time. Then let's take a brief look at the point sticks, because we hadn't talked about the point sticks last time. I wonder if these add up. They probably don't. Oh, they might. So, the other set had this fancy round marker. We only have like, in this cheap set, we have like one east marker and one south marker. These are 10,000 points. These are 5,000 points. These are 1,000 points, and the reach stick. Sometimes they come in colors. Yeah, this. Actually, and these are 100 points. And sometimes you use green ones to indicate 500, but that really depends on the set. So there's no official 500 marker, I don't think. So depending on what rules you play with, each player either starts with 25,000 or with 30,000, and you just put them in. 10,000, 20,000. 1, 2, 3. 4 of these. 1 of these, and maybe another 5. Depending on how. Like it's useful to have like an additional one to signify 500, because it can be a bit of a mess with too many 100 sticks. So this would be 10,000, 20,000, 24, 25. Right, everyone puts this in their drawer, they close their drawer, and then the game begins. So, now let's begin an actual game. And then hard Mahjong sticks. Ah, damn it. Now I currently don't hear the music. Okay. So, at the very beginning is the shuffling of tiles. Now, there's conflicting theories about how to best shuffle, and yes, you can get like really deep into the theory of shuffling, because of course there's cheating, and all the rules are in order to prevent people from cheating. Now, cheating doesn't usually happen during European tournaments, but if you go into shady Japanese areas, then maybe don't bet too much money. That was just a theory, a shuffle theory. Thanks for watching. So, one theory is that every tile should remain face down, so no one can see what they are. Another theory is that the shuffling should be violent, so it is obvious that no one is grouping tiles. And what I mean by grouping tiles, let me just demonstrate it real quick. So assume that I'm silently, quietly collecting pin tiles for whatever reason, right? Okay. So I'm collecting all these pin tiles here while shuffling, right? I just want to make sure that it's clear why this is a thing. And now everyone needs to build walls. And if I am like really sneaky, and like I built my wall in such a way, now if I was a cheater, this would not be as obvious as I'm making it now, right? So 575. Get the balls right. That's 7 and 5. Wonderful. And then let's see if I can still do this. Yes. Right. So this is now my wall, and everyone puts such a wall in front of them. Your granddad was a notorious card cheat. fleeced a lot of people for their money. Now, what's going to happen at such a wall is that at the beginning, people take their pieces in chunks of 4 for their hand, right? And then open them up. And then during the game, people take their pieces one by one and discard them. And so, essentially, every fourth, as long as no one makes a call, every second pair on the top will go to the same player, right? And if right, let's see if I did this right. Put those in correctly, or put those in fancy, then now every piece that is for me will be a pin piece, so that I can like cheat myself into a full flush. So that is bad. That is to be prevented, and that's why it's also a good idea, at least a good idea, to be able to see all the tiles that have been shuffled. Of course, there's other things that will make you prevent that, because, for example, there is no guarantee that I will be the player, that the cheater will be the player who actually gets these pin tiles, right? But it also means that if you're not the player, then you're less likely to get pin tiles, and you know which player will be waiting for pin tiles, will be hoarding pin tiles, or just discarding them, right? Alright, so now let's build a couple walls and then play around. Now, I used to be like very routine at this. I'm not anymore, but we'll be fine. Okay, so we built walls of 17 tiles each. Why 17? Well, 17 in length and 2 in height. And every player does that. So every player at the end has 34 tiles in height for her. And 4 times 34. Jesus Christ, I'm making arithmetic. 120, 30, 136? Is that right? But it's also 4 times 34 because you have 3 suits from 1 to 9. So that's 3 times 9, which is, Jesus Christ, 27. And then you have 3 winds for 30, 3 dragons for 30, and 4 winds for 34. So it adds up. Right? That's why it's 17. Basically, it adds up. That's it. Okay. Now, usually everyone would do this on their own side, but I'm not going to switch positions much. At least I don't intend to. So we'll just... and then build walls and shuffle them around to the other players. Cool. Yeah, that's the problem with this cheap set, is that they are not flush. They're not even, right? There's like a little, you can see that on camera, I don't know, but it's like a little bend up here. And that means that they're not easily stackable. That trick is super routine with the proper Japanese scenes. Like if I push those 2 sides together, you might see it bend up a little, or you might not. Alright, I'm just gonna do this safely. And again, I'm using this Chinese set for the teaching because it has the numbers next to the has the numbers in the corner in case someone is unsure what a certain piece is. I haven't had a full hand in front of me in a long while. Okay. Maybe can I zoom out a little? Can I zoom out on this camera? Let me check. Which camera is this? The problem is I can't go further back. Well, it is. No, it's can. This one? Zoom out. Oh great, now that's zoomed in. Thanks, Logitech. But let's see if we can. Kann man nicht verfügen. Of course, we can't. Well, that sucks. Okay. That hardly helped, but I think it helped a little. Maths and arithmetic are only distant cousins. Exactly. Alright. Let's assume that I'm the dealer. If I am the one who picked East, that means I'm the start dealer. So I'll place my start dealer chip somewhere where it's visible and where it's obvious. Usually this is my area. My corner is the bottom right corner, because this corner will be his bottom right corner. So I'll just put it here for now. Now I get to roll the dice. 5. Oh, you can't see that, sorry. Okay. There's a 4 here, and a 1 here. Done with the 1. I don't know where. 7 is opposite. 7 is opposite. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so 5 is myself. So I count, starting with me, counterclockwise. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And therefore it's myself. And now I count 5 off of this wall. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and separate this here. That means, that means that this will be the starting pieces, and this will be the ending pieces. Actually, in fact, these pieces, right here, will probably never be used. In fact, we need a stack of 7, of 2 times 7, that is never going to be used. And this is the so-called dead wall. And because the dead wall may not reveal any information, can it be left or right, or does it need to be from the right? We don't think you're cheating with the die roll. Fair enough. This is always counted from right to left. Where do we get the Dora from? Very good question. The Dora we get from right here. Because the Dora is part of the dead wall. Now, because it is very, very important that this tile is not revealed. And sometimes when someone bumps into the table, things move or something can happen. Therefore, many times this one is set down here to prevent that from happening. And then this one is flipped. And that's the Dora indicator. Pin 2. And therefore, pin 3 is now the Dora. Alright. Now, we pick the tiles. I'm the dealer, I go first. Now, usually everyone picks the tiles for themselves. But since everyone else is kind of preoccupied, I'm gonna deal them all. Since we are the dealer, we begin, so we will have to end up with 14 tiles. 8. 12, 12. And now comes the fanciest Mahjong move ever, which is to pick these 2 tiles. For a very simple reason. I'm going to put them back in. The dealer will get this piece. So East will get this piece. South will get this piece. West will get this piece. North will get this piece. And then East will get this piece again. So East just takes both of them. Right? That way East doesn't have to grab twice. And the other ones can immediately start picking their pieces. SMH lazy players. Now let's go through this hand, and afterwards I'll explain the remaining concepts, the remaining yakus, and the remaining concepts which are important, and then we'll go play, hopefully, if we have enough time, on an actual server. So we're going to pretend that this is round 1-1, right? So East 1. And I'm going to try to capture what is happening at every point. Not quite sure how I'm going to do that. If I were to put it like this, maybe. Put that like this. Grab it like this. Will that work? Kind of. And now aim down. No, that's too far away. I can put it on the drawer. That works. That works. Just put the ouch onto the drawers, maybe without hurting myself. Almost. I'm gonna go closer to the wall. Alright, let's take a look at the tiles we have. Can't get them all in here. No, that just doesn't work. Oh, no, that's actually closer. There. That's kind of all of them on screen, right? Okay. So let's sort them. Let's sort them the way they are sorted in the other one. Now, here's another thing. The game auto sorts them. If you're playing, if you're really playing for something, you don't sort your hand, because people will know which area of your hand you discarded from, and will then know how many pin tiles, mun tiles, and bamboo tiles the other player still has left. Oh yeah, the dragons. What order do they point in? I think I remember white, green, red, but I think it's pretty important. Yes. Hako Hatsuchun. White, green, red is correct. In German, it's alphabetical. I don't know if it's alphabetical in English. White, green, red, white. Yes, and it wraps around. So it is alphabetical order, right? Green, then red, then white, then green. Right? Okay, so the dragons work in alphabetical order. Alright, but of course, unless we're like really, really into that, we'll just sort the tiles. Also, I think I'm just